From our State House studio in Montgomery, I'm Todd Stacy. Welcome to Capitol Journal. It was a pretty wild day in the Alabama Legislature as the Republican supermajorities in the House and Senate exerted their dominance and muscled through their priority legislation. We'll start our coverage in the Senate, where Democrats threatened to filibuster the entire day, even up until midnight. There were different reasons for the dispute, including disagreements over a local Birmingham water and sewer bill, and just general opposition to the Republican slate of bills. In the end, Republicans utilized cloture, a rarely used tool to shut off debate, and pass their slate of conservative bills.
No, I always go back to the sponsor. So, Senator Chambliss, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President.
This is not about the sponsor.
This bill is the App Store Accountability Bill.
This is not about a motion based on the sponsor.
You're not recognized. Senator Chambliss.
Protects the children.
This was another red meat package, I think, that the Republicans, being the supermajority, had to cloture themselves just to get them passed. We had a calendar that was agreed upon early in the day that was basically a calendar that we was bipartisan and that we all thought we can get out of here by 11 or 12 o'clock today. And when they went into the meeting, they came back with a whole different posture. And so I would have definitely talked about the posture we were in and us holding our words to the calendars that we said it was going to hold them to.
And how there are actions and consequences on both sides of the aisle for when things don't go your particular way, and we understand that, and obviously I think y'all saw that today.
One key bill passed by the Senate today is legislation aiming to protect children from inappropriate material on cell phones and tablets. Senate Bill 186 from Senator Clyde Chambliss would require smartphone manufacturers like Apple or Samsung to enable a pornography and other graphic content filter on any phone or tablet sold in Alabama. Such filters already exist on phones but are typically not activated at the point of sale.
Yeah, 186 is a filter bill, and there is a filter on our phones currently, and it simply requires that filter to be in the on position if the phone is enabled for a child. The second bill is the app bill for the App Store, and it requires age verification before you can download certain apps. Texas, I'm told, also passed the app bill 30-1 or something like that today or yesterday. The point is to try to make it consistent across the states, and then hopefully when enough states adopt it, maybe Congress will adopt it, and we wouldn't have a different law in every state.
That bill now goes to the House. And other notable bills passing the Senate today include that companion bill Senator Chambliss was just talking about, Senate Bill 187, that would put tighter restrictions on App Store providers, including a requirement that they verify the age of users. Senate Bill 5 from Senator Chris Elliott, which would overhaul the governing board for the Alabama Department of Archives and History. Senate Bill 13 from State Senator Gerald Allen, which would require the playing of the national anthem before each school day. Senate Bill 142 from State Senator Wes Kitchens, which would codify Alabama's new statewide voter database known as AVID. And Senate Bill 158 from State Senator Will Barfoot, which would prohibit the use of foreign national driver's licenses from being used as a form of voter ID. All those bills now head to the House. In the House, Republicans also invoked cloture to end a Democratic filibuster. They took up a slate of conservative bills, including one following the lead of President Donald Trump in renaming the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. House Bill 247 is sponsored by State Representative David Standridge, who said its purpose is to cut down on the confusion and recognize the executive order coming out of Washington.
Well, it started with the executive order from the president that renamed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. And so that started the process, and then there was some confusion in the state about do we use the Gulf of Mexico, do we use the Gulf of America? And then when it translated into, we need to purchase resources, we need to purchase textbooks, we need to purchase maps, we need to purchase tourism pamphlets, things like that, then they needed a clear direction. And so that's the reason I brought the bill. It's executive order. It is being used by all the federal agencies now, and then some other entities like Google Maps and Apple Maps.
The House also passed legislation to create a shark attack alert system along the Gulf Coast. House Bill 437 is named for Lulu Gribben, the Mountain Brook teenager who was attacked by a shark last year, losing a leg and part of her arm. Lulu has turned her trauma into advocacy and has lobbied for better shark safety measures at the state and federal level. Lawmakers today paused to honor Lulu and hear from U.S. Senator Katie Britt, who is championing similar legislation in Congress.
So it is truly an honor to be here with you all today for the passage of House Bill 437, and want to thank Representative Faulkner for all of the work, for your leadership, for spearheading this to make this a reality. But it's certainly a privilege to be here to speak directly to Lulu. Lulu, you have united this state behind a cause in a way that very few people can. You have taken what is the unimaginable and shown us how the Lord can turn that into action to save other people's lives. Your bravery, your resiliency has not only inspired people in this state, but all across the nation. I have United States senators coming up to me and asking if they can get on Lulu's law, and can they please be the lead on the other side of the aisle. It's a really incredible moment to see someone like you stand so tall, so brave, and say, with grit and resiliency and grace, I'm going to make things better for other people. So thank you for what you've taught each and every one of us. It's an honor to carry Lulu's law in the United States Senate. We're going to work diligently to get it across the finish line this year, making sure that beachgoers have the information that they need to keep their families safe. And just on behalf of all the members of the United States Senate, we are so proud of your story and the way that you have conducted yourself and inspired people from coast to coast. We love you and keep going.
This bill allows us to fight for the safety of our environment. Only 90 minutes before my accident, another shark attack occurred a few miles down the beach. This bill will allow us to help future accidents and future shark attacks. I would like to thank everyone for your support on this bill, and I am so grateful. I would especially like to thank the Speaker of the House, Mr. David Faulkner, and Katie Britt. Thank you so much. This bill means so much to me.
And other notable bills passing the House today include House Bill 7 from State Representative Ernie Yarbrough. Known as the Laken Riley Act, the bill would allow state and local law enforcement to enter into agreements with federal authorities to help enforce existing immigration laws. I'll be speaking in more detail about that bill with Mr. Yarbrough later in the show. House Bill 178 from State Representative Mark Gidley would require public schools and community colleges to display the 10 Commandments. House Bill 67 from State Representative Scott Stadhagen would prohibit public schools or libraries from hosting drag performances. House Bill 244 from State Representative Mac Butler would prohibit public school teachers from discussing gender identity or displaying gender ideological materials in the classroom. And House Bill 165 from State Representative Rick Ream would establish Juneteenth as an official state holiday. All of those bills now go to the Senate. Today kicked off the first ever state agency job fair. Hosted by the Alabama Department of Workforce and the State Personnel Department, the job fair connects those seeking work with agencies in need of quality employees.
This is the first event like this of its kind ever that anyone knows of, to where you're bringing job seekers specifically to state agencies to where they are looking for opportunities to go to work within state government. The benefits are strong, the retirement is impressive, so there's a lot of reasons to consider state employment. One of the things too that I've been struck by as I've moved around the room, no matter what your interest, it's represented here. If you're interested in healthcare, It's the Department of Public Health. If you're interested in corrections, law enforcement, interested in opportunities with veteran services, issues associated with computer science, topics with Alabama's different agencies that are associated with what we do in computer science and how that's promoted within the state. You have every kind of idea. So whatever you're interested in, it's available in state government, and those folks are here looking for employees today. Alabamians want to go to work. We need a strong workforce. Increasing the number of folks involved and engaged in the workforce is one of my responsibilities. So we're doing everything we can think of to promote that.
Today, the Energy Institute of Alabama celebrated Lineman Appreciation Day to recognize Alabama's power line workers for all they do to ensure reliable electric service around the state. Line workers were recognized from Alabama Power, Alabama Rural Electric Authority, Energy Southeast, Electric Cities of Alabama, Power South, and the Tennessee Valley Authority.
I know firsthand what that means when it thunders or when the lights flicker, because there were many, many times that my grandmother waited on him for a meal and he missed a lot of things. And I know that each of you have so many sacrifices that you miss in your daily lives with your family to take care of us and the things that you do. When we are all in our beds, all cozy, and we're staying warm, or our refrigerator's staying on, or the internet's still on, y'all are out there, and it's not a good time for you. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate you, how much I appreciate your sacrifices, and on behalf of the Alabama Legislature and the people of the state of Alabama, I just want to say thank you.
If people don't have electrical service, we're not really able to help them. And what we do as meteorologists, I've never looked at it as a job. It's a career, it's a calling, it's a passion. And in Alabama, the accessing weather information can be a life or death thing. When they see those trucks pull up and they see that power company logo on it, you are inspiring them, you are telling them there are people looking out for you, this is going to be all right.
We're the first line of normalcy after a storm comes through, to get somebody back to, they lose everything, but they want to be able to charge their phone to call their family or loved ones. And that's just a sense of pride that we all take to come in. I mean, we leave home, our lights are out, kids crying, wanting to know when you're coming home, and I have to go help. I have to go serve the community to get their life back normal.
We'll be right back with tonight's guest.
You can watch past episodes of Capital Journal online at video.aptv.org. Capital Journal episodes are also available on APTV's free mobile app. You can also connect with Capital Journal and link to past episodes on Capital Journal's Facebook page. And you can listen to past episodes of Capital Journal when you're driving or on the go with Capital Journal podcasts.
Welcome back to Capital Journal. Joining me next is State Representative Ernie Yarbrough. Representative, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Well, it's a big day for you. You passed your bill on the floor, the Laken Riley Act. I want to get to that in a minute, but first, I don't believe you've been on Capital Journal before, so I was hoping that you could tell our audience a little bit about yourself and your district that you represent here in the legislature.
Sure, yeah. So again, as you said, Ernie Yarbrough, State Rep for House District 7. So House District 7 is northwest Alabama. So that's a little bit of Morgan County, all of Lawrence County, and a decent portion of Colbert County. So that district is, I'd say, for the most part, very rural. Farming plays a big part. And then a lot of our people also go into either Lawrence County or Morgan County for industry, manufacturing type jobs. So I probably have just described a fair portion of Alabama, but
yeah.
But definitely an area that loves outside rural farming and family and values is really important to my district.
Sure. Well, let's talk about Laken Riley Act. Has to do with immigration. Of course, based on Laken Riley, the tragic case out of Georgia. Just walk me through what this bill does and why it's necessary.
Sure, yeah. So this bill actually predates Senator Britt's bill. I mean, I'm sure folks know it's famous. That was the first bill that President Trump signed. But this bill came to my attention actually last session. I noticed, because one of the things I try to do is look around what other states are doing, as well as listening to my constituents, the things that are important, so that I know what legislation to either bring or get behind, right? And so I about maybe halfway through the session or so, I saw a news article about this Laken Riley Act passed out of Georgia. And so I got to check it into it. So this is a great piece of legislation. And so I filed it then, made it through one committee, but we ran out of time. And, last session gambling kind of was the big thing. So, there were just not a lot of time for getting other bills through. So I pre-filed it. Funny enough, HB 7, I could remember because 7 is my district. So that worked out pretty good. I had several co-sponsors. And so moved into this session. What Laken Riley Act does is it actually, even though it predates Senator Britt's bill, her bill is fantastic at the federal level, and it actually complements and works wonderfully with hers. So what it does is, while her legislation strengthens the federal obligations and duties, what this bill does is it allows state and local law enforcement to enter into a MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, with the federal government, so that our state and local law enforcement, it's optional if they want to, they can help and through that MOU have a structured relationship with the federal government to help enforce existing immigration laws. So it doesn't create any new immigration laws. It just simply says, hey, this is a problem that's gotten so big because of the last several years of just rampant illegal immigration that we not only need the federal agencies to do their part, we need our grassroots law enforcement to help.
So I'm trying to think just practically how it would work. So like if the ALEA, for example, or even a sheriff's office in a county, if they entered in one of these MOUs, then if they come across someone who's here in the country illegally, traffic stop, something like that, then they would be empowered to apprehend that person, pass them over to ICE or something. Is that kind of the idea?
So the idea is, and I know you want to maybe talk about some concerns. Like people say, well, would this be targeting? Could it be profiling? And the answer is no, because this bill is structured in the context of probable cause, right? The bill actually prohibits detaining someone simply on the basis of their illegal alien status. So that means
they have to do something else.
That's
wrong?
right.
Okay.
So there's another crime committed, something, and again, police use probable cause, their discretion. Hey, this is not right. That's illegal. That's a crime. Something's not right here. They engage as they would anybody normally.
So it's not show me your papers.
That's right. No, not at all. Right. And so then in the process of following out their normal course of duties, if they apprehend someone through just doing what police do, then this allows them to have a structured process whereby they can check the immigration or lawful status of that individual with ICE, and they can't be detained solely on the basis of their illegal alien status or whether they're here lawfully or not. But if they are apprehended in the course of a crime and they then contact ICE, and ICE gives an immigration detainer, at that point you have to honor that, right? So the whole focus of this bill is that we don't want people here illegally who are committing crimes. That's the focus of the bill. It's not anything other than if you're here illegally and you're committing crimes, then we don't want that criminal element in our society.
I think that's interesting. It's important that you put it like that, because so much on this issue can be characterized, and sometimes it's probably good reasons for that, as like mass roundups and things like that. But
Sure.
y'all have couched this and other immigration bills as kind of public safety oriented. Is that fair to say?
Oh, it absolutely is, and that's the whole point of it. I mean, nobody wants to live in a society where we do the show me your papers kind of thing, right? It's not American. Obviously, America's history, we celebrate immigration, and that's a part of our heritage. But at the same time, we have to recognize, one of the examples I had on the floor, I had just recently 10 examples of horrendous crimes committed by illegal immigrants. Several of those crimes, they had committed petty crimes up to that point, smaller crimes before, like an egregious, violent, terrible act. And if this had been in place, we would have actually been able to remove them from our communities and put them to their country or over to ICE, and the more violent crimes that they committed would have never happened.
I was going to ask you about that, because connect it back to Laken Riley. Remind us of kind of what happened and why, or if a law like this being in place would it have prevented it somehow?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it would have. So Laken Riley, as everyone knows, a beautiful young lady in Georgia. She was violently accosted while she was jogging, a nursing student. She fought for, I think it was 10, 15, 17 minutes, fought for her life before her life was taken from her. But the man who committed this crime, he had already committed several smaller kind of like shoplifting kind of crimes up to that point, and it almost seemed like he was testing the waters, and so he obviously had a pattern of criminal behavior. Well, so if in this situation, if this bill was in place here or in Georgia, which is why they passed it in Georgia, they could have apprehended him on that first crime of shoplifting. In that context, they could have, through an MOU, said, "Hey, ICE, is this guy here legally or not?" Nope, he's not. We want you to, we want you to come take him. So at that point, ICE gives an immigration detainer, and then they turn him over to ICE, and ICE removes him as they see fit.
So he wouldn't have even been there, right?
That's right.
Very unlikely, at least, that he would have ever been there. Okay. I do want to ask you about concerns, because we've been here before in some sense. Back in 2011, the House Bill 56. It was passed back then with the intention of it being the toughest immigration law in the country. It probably was, but a lot of that got scaled back by the courts, some by the legislature itself, in terms of it found to be unworkable, unconstitutional, some of it. Has that come up at all in terms of the discussions over this bill? Are you concerned at all that the courts might see this as an overreach of some kind, or are you confident in its constitutionality?
I'm confident. I mean, I think it's a normal thing for the federal government to have a working relationship, or to have law enforcement, state or local, work with them on certain cases or situations. And again, this law doesn't create any new immigration laws. It's simply a cooperative help to enforce laws that are already on the books. And again, the individual cannot be detained longer than 48 hours, which is standard detaining time, and they can't be detained solely upon the basis of their immigration status. So I think it's a good law. I think it's sound, and I'm very optimistic it will stand the test of the courts.
What about the Senate? It's got to go upstairs to the Senate. Time's going quick. What are the prospects up there?
Well, I have Senator Sam Gavan is planning to carry the bill. I've been told by the Pro Tem Gudger that he is in support of the bill. And so I'm cautiously, I guess I should use the phrase cautiously optimistic, that we will have passage in both chambers. I mean, the bill had tremendous bipartisan support in D.C.
That's right.
Laken Riley, Senator Ritz, there was like 46 House and I think 16 senators,
including ours,
Democrats, who voted.
Smart figures, Terry Sewell, both.
That's right. That's right. And so, and this bill, in this process, this bill through 3 committees has taken multiple amendments from both sides of the aisle, right? And so this bill has been worked in good faith, and both parties agree that there's a need that needs to be addressed here. So I'd say I'm cautiously optimistic that we can get this across the finish line.
Kind of staying on this issue, I'm just curious because you mentioned representing a big farming population, right? An industry that over the years has depended on seasonal immigration and things like that. When at the federal level, when they can get this under control, obviously the shift has been incredible in terms of focusing on enforcement. Are you one that hopes that Congress can do something about just the laws itself on immigration and kind of fix the system that has led to all this broken border and everything? Yeah,
I mean, I think on the one hand it's important, like a home. I have walls and doors and locks on my home, but at the same time we love having people in our home, right? Hospitality is a big part of what my wife always says, build a longer table, right? Bring more people around. So it doesn't mean I don't have locks, doesn't mean I don't have walls, doesn't mean I don't have means of self-defense. So I think it's important that we have structured ports and gates and pathways of entry, but within those ways and means to acknowledge, hey, we need seasonal workers. Hey, we need X, Y, and Z, right? That's an important part not only of our economy, but I think to establish a healthy relationship with other nations. So I fully support that. I think it's wonderful. And so I think that to your point, hopefully it will help us while we want to identify the illegal criminal elements and remove them. We, at the same time, do need to focus on maximizing legal and available avenues so that we not only remain that country that says, hey, give me your poor, give me your hungry, give me your tired, but also recognizing that there's an important economic relationship that I think it helps both countries. Yeah.
We're out of time. Well, congratulations on passage of your bill. We'll be watching it going forward, and thanks for your time.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
We'll be right back.
You can watch past episodes of Capitol Journal online anytime at Alabama Public Television's website, aptv.org. Click on the Online Video tab on the main page. You can also connect with Capitol Journal and link to past episodes on Capitol Journal's Facebook page.
From its establishment in 1969 by the Muscle Shoals Rhythm Section, also known as the Swampers, until the mid-1980s, the Muscle Shoals Sound Studios in Sheffield, Colbert County was one of the most sought-after recording studios in the nation. Muscle Shoals played a prominent role in American popular music, both as a production facility and as a stylistic embodiment of Southern regional music. The studio also held a unique place in the narrative of soul music in the early 1970s. From the Rolling Stones to Aretha Franklin, performers who recorded at the studio represent some of the most notable and popular recording artists of the time. The remarkable consistency of the music created by the Swampers is a testament to the synergy of the players and their dedication to the art of recording. The studio's legacy, which is internationally recognized, testifies to music's ability to bring people together. Muscle Shoals Sound Studio was placed on the National Register of Historic Places on June 2, 2006.
That's our show for tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow night for our Week in Review episode. That's 7:30 here on Alabama Public Television. For our Capitol Journal team, I'm Todd Stacy. We'll see you next time.